A heavyweight.
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this.
It allowed Jake Paul's brother to be in there and be able to last with a smaller man, a smaller, older, greater fighter who's mostly was concentrating on defense more than just offense.
Gervonta Tank Davis has taken his training to another level ahead of his highly anticipated showdown with Jake Paul. In preparation for what's being billed as one of boxing's biggest crossover events, Davis has been sparring with full-fledged heavyweights, men much bigger and stronger than him. These are not light or cautious sessions. Reports say they've been full-blown wars. One sparring partner, a heavyweight, was visibly shaken after Tank landed a thunderous shot that sent a clear message: his power isn't defined by size. Davis is matching strength with men who outweigh him by dozens of pounds, pushing his limits with every exchange.
Oh, no, you're right.
But tell people what happened.
Man, I was about to spar. Before I was about to spar Tank, he was sparring this big boy.
A heavyweight.
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this.
Once again, Davis is turning heads in the boxing world. His latest sparring sessions show him overpowering and outmaneuvering heavyweight fighters, something few thought possible for a man his size. Known for his explosive speed and compact strength in the lightweight and super lightweight divisions, Tank is proving that raw power transcends weight classes when paired with precision and skill. In leaked gym footage, Davis is seen slipping punches with ease, countering with lightning-fast combinations, and dictating the tempo with clinical control. Every movement, every pivot, every jab shows a man preparing for more than just a fight. He's building endurance, learning how to break down bigger opponents, and sharpening the instincts that could make all the difference against a larger, unpredictable Jake Paul.
Look like you're playing pool with a short stick. Oh, let me swing him. Punch when he punch, yeah. Punch when he punch. Punch when he punch. Yep. They ain't stop firing. We slowed down. Now we're going to commence firing again. That's what we do. We reload and come back. Yeah, you ain't got to get close, man, because we know you're scared to get close. Get close, man. Keep rolling, Kev. All the way down the road. Come.
Despite the massive size difference between Tank and his sparring partners, he continues to embrace the challenge. For him, these sessions are not about intimidation, they're about precision and discipline. His team revealed that these heavyweight matchups are designed to teach him how to manage distance, maintain his rhythm under pressure, and remain explosive even when pushed around by heavier bodies. Every round helps him read movement and calculate angles, skills that will be crucial when facing Jake Paul's awkward, power-based style. Davis understands that Jake's main advantage is size. By sparring with heavyweights, he's dismantling that fear long before fight night. It's a strategy born from confidence and experience. Tank is preparing for every possible scenario once the bell rings.
Here's a clip of Gervonta Tank Davis releasing footage of him training and sparring with a heavyweight ahead of his showdown with YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul, that's set to take place November 14th in Atlanta, Georgia at the State Farm Arena. Tank Davis is 5'4" and he weighs in at 135. His last fight, he actually was 133 pounds. Jake Paul is 6'1" with a 76-inch arm reach, and he weighed in at 199 pounds his last fight, and fight before that, he weighed in at 224 pounds. Gervonta Tank Davis has a 67-inch arm reach. This is why this fight has to be ruled an exhibition and not a real professional boxing match, because no boxing commission would sanction it. Let me know what y'all think about this. As you see, Tank Davis is using and working on movement. Let me know. I'm gone. Peace.
Former UFC fighter and analyst Chael Sonnen believes that Gervonta Davis carries the entire credibility of traditional boxing into this fight. In Sonnen's words, this isn't just another matchup, it's a mission. No matter how much attention Jake Paul has brought to the sport, it's up to Tank to remind the world what real boxing looks like. Sonnen said, "This is Davis's chance to silence the circus and bring the focus back to skill, timing, and technique." For him, this fight is more than entertainment, it's a statement about authenticity. If Tank wins, especially by knockout, it won't just be a victory, it'll be a message to the entire boxing world that real fighters still rule the ring, not influencers chasing viral fame.
Would you still let anybody know that's listening
that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched him weigh in, I want to say it was like 8 pounds.
As fight week draws closer, new reports and footage confirm that Davis's training camp is no joke. His sparring with heavyweights isn't symbolic, it's brutal, calculated, and intentional. Each session pushes him beyond his physical comfort zone. According to his trainers, the goal is simple: make the fight feel easier than the training. The heavyweights force Tank to refine his head movement, sharpen his defensive reflexes, and find new ways to generate power efficiently. Every round tests his stamina and composure, showing that even against stronger men, precision and timing win the battle. This approach highlights how seriously Davis is treating Jake Paul, not as a sideshow, but as a legitimate opponent who demands elite preparation. Renowned trainer Teddy Atlas praised Gervonta Davis as one of the most complete fighters in boxing today. Atlas acknowledged that Jake Paul's size advantage might look significant on paper, but in reality, it won't matter once the first bell rings. He explained that Davis's experience against every style imaginable, pressure fighters, counterpunchers, tall technicians, has prepared him for anything Jake can bring. People keep asking, what if Jake lands a big shot? Atlas said, "They're missing the point. Davis has faced men who hit harder, moved smarter, and lasted longer. He's built for pressure." Atlas emphasized that Tank's adaptability under fire is what separates him from entertainers who treat boxing as spectacle. Once the punches start flying, experience always wins over experiment.
Do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter, he can punch. And he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling it. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin, and Jake Paul, we're gonna find out if he can dance. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, do the cha-cha. That's what's gonna sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people wouldn't go and everything else, that just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that, it's safer to do that. You don't have to bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that, but I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if? What if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? Or he jumps up in the air? Right! And the answer. Sid Terrace. Sid Terrace was a great fighter. No, not the 1700s, but years ago. And Cus D'Amato told me he loved Sid Terrace. He said, Teddy, he used to jump up in the air and hit you with 3 jabs. I said, whoa, man, Sid Terrace. All right. Anyway, look, I can't finish without saying that it did invoke some memories and thoughts that we've been here before in a different way, where Jake Paul's brother fought Mayweather. That's not forget. And I'm not saying I like that either. I mean, first of all, Mayweather was past his prime. He was already retired. He was older, everything, but he's still the great Mayweather. And Mayweather was fighting a guy, what was it, 50-pound difference, 60-pound difference, whatever it was. And that size made a difference. It allowed Jake Paul's brother to be in there and be able to last with a smaller man, a smaller, older, greater fighter who's mostly was concentrating on defense more than just off.
Sports analyst Max Kellerman offered a more personal view of Davis's motivation. He explained that Tank's decision to take the Jake Paul fight isn't purely business, it's personal. After years of grueling training camps, world title fights, and constant media pressure, Davis reportedly wanted a fight that would give him both excitement and long-term financial security. According to Kellerman, Tank's focus has shifted slightly toward building stability for his family and securing peace of mind outside the ring. The Jake Paul bout, he said, serves as a transitional moment, a chance for Davis to cash in on his star power without compromising his legacy. Yet, when the gloves go on, Max insists, there's no question, Tank still fights to prove he's the most dangerous man in boxing.
You got a guy like Gervonta, who I personally think has been checked out for way longer than this last fight. I think he was checked out prior to the Roach fight. I thought this was all going to be in the works, where he was supposed to beat the 16-1 Roach and then go on to fight Jake Paul and then call it a career, because I think the people around him understood there wasn't much left in the tank for him in terms of his want or his desire to be here. He did an interview with Dan Canobio about 18 months ago where he was like, yeah, man, I just kind of want to raise my family. I don't know how much left of boxing for me. I don't want to see a therapist. I want to, I need to, but like, I don't want to take away from my fighting. But I think it's time for me to do stuff like that. So I think the writing's been on the wall for Tank for a while. So that draw was kind of just like, I was on the way out anyway. I don't need to go back in there. And I said it at the end of that fight. I'm like, there's no way we see that rematch. He was so uncomfortable in that ring with Roach. He doesn't want to feel that again. He showed that night. So I'm not surprised that fight's not happening. I'm not even surprised he's fighting Jake Paul now. It's a cash.
During the press tour, analysts Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora pointed out the stark contrast between the two fighters' personalities. Jake Paul, as expected, took the role of showman, loud, confident, and constantly promoting the fight with his trademark bravado. Davis, meanwhile, stayed composed, quiet, and visibly uninterested in verbal exchanges. Mannix said, Jake knows how to sell a fight, but Tank knows how to win one. Mora added that Davis's silence isn't weakness, it's focus. Both analysts agreed that Tank's refusal to engage in trash talk shows his maturity. When the cameras shut off and the talking stops, it's skill, not sound bites, that determine who walks out victorious.
And even though Jake Paul tried to egg him on and try to goad Gervonta Davis on, he's dealing with somebody that is not a quick-witted, thinker. He's not a quick-witted speaker. Tank Davis is explosive in the ring. He's fast and powerful in the ring. He's charismatic inside the ring when he's punching. But when you put a microphone in front of him, he's not articulate. He doesn't know how to quickly respond to people. He stutters a lot. He does more stuttering than talking. So Gervonta Davis in front of a microphone is not going to sell. So Tank Davis shouldn't be put in a podium like that. He should have speakers for him. He should have someone talking for him. He should have a mouthpiece. Tank Davis is not going to sell this fight. And Jake Paul knows it. That's the reason he kept throwing jabs at him. He tried to get Tank out of his shell. Tank's not quick verbally enough. He's not quick-witted. He's not quick with the tongue. So in order for him to sell this fight, he's going to have an adversary that can spit something back. Like, for instance, Chavez Jr., he didn't have that quick-witted response, but he had the backing, he had the loyal following. And Chavez Jr., like many Mexicans, don't need to speak because they do all their fighting in the ring, and people know that. Tank Davis, I don't know, man. People, he didn't look good in his last fight. He's not fighting the killers in his division. People are getting off that Tank train, and we know that he's had his issues outside the ring. The love's not there anymore. Tank Davis is losing a lot of passion, a lot of followers, and people aren't buying this circus that Jake Paul's trying to sell. And I'm glad that people are getting off this train. The commission in Georgia got off this damn train. That's why they had to move this fight to Florida, or anything can happen.
Former champion Timothy Bradley offered a behind-the-scenes look at how this fight came together. According to him, Gervonta Davis didn't have many options after his previous bout. Negotiations for a rematch with Lamont Roach reportedly fell apart, leaving limited opportunities for big fights. With pressure from promoters and broadcasters to deliver a blockbuster event, the Jake Paul matchup became the most realistic path. Bradley emphasized that this wasn't just a financial move, it was strategic. The exposure, the attention, and the challenge all aligned. People don't realize how many layers are behind these decisions, Bradley said. Management, timing, networks, all of it matters. Regardless of how it happened, Bradley believes Tank will seize this stage to remind everyone why he's still one of boxing's most dangerous forces.
No, I do. I'm not making no excuses for Tank at all, but this is just my perspective, man. Tank had no other choice but to do this fight, man. He had no other choice. You know, he was in training for that Lamont Roach fight, and, you know, then the coverage got pulled off, you know, and then this fight came about. You know, this is an inside thing, man. I swear, man, I'm telling y'all, this is an inside thing. You know, this is something that Al, PBC wanted Canelo to do, you know, because this is how they eat. This is how they gonna eat. This is how they gonna recoup, you know. As you know, PBC, they got no legs to stand on, man. You know, money going out, not enough money coming in. They got to spend their own bread, you know, for everything, you know, for everything. So, you know, they need money coming in. And their guy, Canelo, left. He with Turkey now. They wanted Canelo to do this fight. And now Tank is obligated to do this fight, man. Again, to save PBC. I promise y'all, man. I'm telling you. You know, Tank was already signed up to fight Roach rematch. He was already signed up, you know. You could just tell, man. I can tell, you know. Yesterday, listening to the press conference, I saw, like, I don't know what it was, but something with Jalen Love, and it's like a secret. I don't know what that is.
After the press conference, fans began to question Davis's demeanor. His quiet attitude and distant focus were a sharp contrast to Jake's energy and showmanship. Some interpreted it as disinterest, others as laser focus. The size difference between them also reignited debates about fairness and competitiveness. Yet, those close to Davis say his silence is intentional, a psychological strategy. He's saving every ounce of energy for the ring, refusing to waste effort on theatrics that don't win fights. To them, Tank's calmness isn't detachment, it's control. He knows what he's there to do, and he doesn't need to talk about it.
Paul legitimately cooked Gervonta Davis in that press conference, and I really don't know how to feel about that. And to be honest with you, I still don't understand how boxing even allowed this to be made. Like, I don't. Like, dog, this is not an overstatement. Like, literally one of the core pillars holding up boxing is this literal, like, fake superiority complex that they have over literally every other combat sport, despite literally being the least effective main combat sport there is. Brother, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, brother, I put judo over I put boxing. In terms of practicality of combat, oh yeah, 100%. Brother, if Jake Paul makes it competitive against Gervonta Davis, I'm looking at this like, brother. Oh, well, weight difference, brother. Gervonta Davis has been training his entire life. I'm sorry, bro. It's bad enough that the fact that if this was under any other combat sport, this would literally be like one of the most one-sided matchups of all time. And it wouldn't be in favor of Davis. No, dog, if you did this under an MMA rule set, oh my gosh, bro, Paul cooks Gervonta. It's not close at all. Like, round one finish level. Like, understand this, Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul is taking place in literally the only combat sport where Davis should win. I'm still shocked that they allowed it to be made. Because, like, there's no upside. If Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis, now we're kind of looking like, wait a minute. What? Like, brother, don't forget. I still think it's a horrible look that Tyson Fury couldn't finish Francis Ngannou. That is so bad. Oh, Francis Ngannou's a great boxer. Francis Ngannou, no joke, is one of the worst boxers to ever be in the UFC. He just has absurd power. No, look at the technique of Francis Ngannou. It's not that good. It's carried by power. Like, going into it, like, I'm hyped, but it's also, I'm looking at this like, bro, Gervonta has to finish.
While Jake Paul has long been accused of exploiting boxing's traditions, critics are now questioning Davis's role in legitimizing influencer boxing by agreeing to this fight. Some purists feel disappointed, saying Tank should have pursued legacy fights against elite contenders instead. But others defend him, reminding fans that boxing has always lived at the intersection of sport and entertainment. For Davis, this fight is about reclaiming control over that narrative, proving that skill and authenticity can still dominate even in the age of spectacle. If he demolishes Jake Paul, the message will be clear: boxing may evolve, but real fighters will always rise above the noise.
Paul is not the problem with boxing, Tank Davis is. Jake Paul's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's a Disney Channel kid, YouTube star turned boxer. Of course, he's gonna make these stupid spectacle matchups. He doesn't care about his career, his legacy, or the sport. Meanwhile, we have Tank Davis, the heir apparent to Floyd Mayweather and Adrian Broner, who has real talent. And if he was actually consistent in the ring and was willing to get in with some of the best fighters in the world, he could be top 3 pound for pound best fighters in the sport. But instead, Tank just wants to hold up his division for 5 years and make a mockery of the sport, especially with this fight.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, analysis, and breakdowns from the world of boxing. Until next time.